Good afternoon and good evening. Thank you so much for dropping by again, Dreamlab and Gorma. That's really nice to see you, and wonderful to see you, Christina. Very nice to see you up and about, and that you have a bit of connectivity in your nursing home. Very nice, very nice. And I'm also very happy to hear that your symptoms are getting better. That's very good to hear. I am debating today, just like I did last week, if I should go to work tomorrow, because I'm working tomorrow, I believe, 1 to 6. And 12 to 5, is it? 12 to 5. I think it's only 5 hours, so it's not a full 6 hours. I forgot if I'm starting at 12 or 1. And I'm thinking, do I need to do that to myself? The cases in Miami Beach have doubled, almost doubled, increased by about 40%, I think, overnight compared to yesterday. So it's getting to that point, But hey, what am I going to do? Am I going to be the local community hero, or am I going to go tell my employer, I don't feel safe to come to work? I really can't decide. But hey, one of those things. I have a poll in that regard for later. So we're going to do that when other people have arrived, and perhaps we're going to take a little vote. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Nice to see you. Mr. Hepcat. I love it. The L, by the way, is silent, in case you were wondering. I'm going to switch right to my stream overlay, namely this one here. And that means you can see those little animations that we've built over the last couple of days in action. I've rolled them out this morning on Stardew Valley stream, which is a lot of fun. It's a nice, cute little game. I'll keep doing that in the morning, no matter if I go to work or not. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's very nice, and I think it looks nice. There's a few tweaks I'd like to make, but I'll leave it on and I'll let you decide what you think and get a first impression. I think it's quite nice, and while I'm just talking about it, I'm gonna attempt something with Mixamo and DAZ Studio once again using this little guy here. So this is another one of the 3D Universe collection that I have. Bought that many years ago. It's GRIMM. Somehow the Toon Skeleton, somehow it feels strangely appropriate. I can't really tell you why, but yes, that's who he is. And I haven't looked at him in a while, and I don't know if he's going to work with Mixamo animations, but he comes with this beautiful little outfit. He also comes with heart-shaped eyes and with something glowing in the background there. And I think maybe he's worthy of our attention. So he's kind of the same generation as the Toon Mouse. And I thought it would be quite nice if he would just appear and just idly stand there and look around left and right and then just go like that. That might be fun. So that's what I'm trying to build today. I don't know if that's going to be successful or not. There's always that option that maybe this is not going to work. But this type of gesture, I'd like for him to kind of stand there, maybe not hunched over, but just stand there. Don't know about the cloth yet either, but he'll just stand there like a skeleton does and looks around and goes, and then he disappears again. That's one thing. And then I'd like to have some gaps between the dancers. So I don't want one dancer to fade out and fade the other one in. I think I'm going to go and put my logo in there. So it'll be like one dancer fades out, logo fades in, stands there for 5 seconds, logo fades out, next dancer comes on. That's what I'm thinking. I am Gorma. To answer the question, I'm doing a shopping job in the supermarket. So I'm an essential worker, and we're in charge of developing groceries to the local community. So that means I'll go walk around in the store and put things into bags that will be collected by drivers, and they take it to people's homes. That's my day job. And I'm wondering if I'm safer at home rather than go into the supermarket and all that. It's kind of, I just can't decide. I was speaking to Minister D yesterday on Discord, and he said that in France, it is the same thing. France have, at least in his region, France have suspended all postal services. Indeed, that's what I'm thinking, Gorma. Better safe than sorry. So, The Rod. How are you doing, Rod? Good to see you, my friend. This is the Premiere project that I put together. So I will keep this open in the background while we make some tweaks. on those animations. So Grim Reaper is going to be another animation I'm going to slot in here. Then I'd like to, on the red dress girl, what I'm missing is a cut closer to her face. So I think I'd like to make that happen as well. That's in Blender. Grim Reaper's in DAZ Studio. The red dress girl is in Blender. So I just want to have one cutaway that when she starts Roombering around, I'll go and cut closer to her face, cut away again to the white, and then that's over. The FBI agent you see there, the female FBI agent, I'm not sure about her. Somehow she doesn't give me what I thought she was going to give me, so I'm thinking of ditching her. But let me know what you think. Let's go and see if we can make that Grim Reaper guy even import into here. I've just installed him, so I don't really know where to find him. I would imagine he's in here, in the Figures tab, but he's not. Have I installed him? Environments, Documents, Cameras, Animations, Anatomy. How about all products? Grim Reaper, but there he is. Where do you think he might be? Just for future reference. Scenes? Not in the scenes, is he? Utilities? Epic, thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. But hey, I don't know where he is. It's just under all products. I guess we'll just use that. Under lost and found. That's crazy. He's lost and found. Poor little guy. I haven't got a proper metadata entry. Oh, that's what it's like when you're Grim Reaper. So we've got the Grim Reaper himself. We've got a bunch of poses, and we've got a cloak. So I like to try him first because I don't know how well he imports into Mixamo. So let's see if we can make that happen. Yes, it's super old. It's super old, but you know, oldie but a goodie. Let's see if it actually still works. So I guess static poses work. Hey, this is exciting. Oh, what are you asking me for? I don't know, I'm dead. Oh my God. Hey, that's what life is all about. Bye guys, see you soon. So he will, I'm gonna go and put 0 legs or this way. Hey, ay caramba, what's the difference? We can't tell. Well, just as he comes, let's take him out here. And oh yeah, also, how does his cloak look? Cloak looks like that. Very good. So I think I'll go and export him without the cloak, and we might try to fit the cloak later. I'll see if that works. Grim Reaper. Let me go and export you. And that's also in Stream Animations under... How did I do that again? Mixamo exports is that. Right from that, so I just put him here. So Grim from DAZ goes here. I'll leave all of these things as they were before. I don't think I need to collect the textures really, because I'm going to go and paste his movements to a new figure. So perhaps we're going to do away with the textures altogether. All right. Let's see if we can actually upload him to Mixamo. So here's my mouse character still. Let me highlight my cursor so that we can all see where I am pointing. And let's see if we can actually upload him. So I haven't tested this yet. Grim from DAZ. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the light, Dreamlab. It could just be the light on the FBI girl. It might just be that. So I could try and tweak it. It's a Blender tweak, so it's easy to do. Look at him go. This is promising. Look at his teeth. Very nice. I'm looking forward to giving him like a smiley expression when he waves. Like, let's see if we can make it happen. So I'm envisioning for there to be literally 3 animations. One is going to be idle like this, so that there's a bit of movement. In fact, I don't even know what block this is, but that is all I want for the idle movement. I think that works quite well. Character arm space is also good. We don't need to do anything else. I think I'm just going to go and download him. this is idle movement. I think 30 frames a second is probably enough keyframes. Yeah, let me do that. Yes, let's download you idle.fbx. So that's in downloads, idle FBX. So I'll go and rename that GRIMM idle. And I'll go and cut you from my overflowing downloads folder and put you into my stream animations folder, rat from DAZ. That's Mixamo exports, isn't it? Yeah, let's do that. Put them in here. Perfect. GRIMM idle. Exciting. So there was another one which is technically, I think it's the default Mixamo block in which that every character appears with. Here, these guys are just looking around. And maybe I have to refresh the page for the animations to all kick in here. Yeah, so there's this one here that's looking behind. That could work. That might actually work even better than I had thought. There is, I think the one I was thinking of is the one that happens when you literally open a new character and it looks around left and right. So there's more. I think is it this one? Not really. I think it's this one here. And that might just be a bit too much. It could also be fun. I don't know. If we wanted to, we can even make them both. We can take them both. So this is look left and right, and the other one is just look right. Hello, Steve. Good day. Good morning to you. Top of the morning to the future in Australia. Very exciting. Thank you for hosting my stream, by the way. So maybe we'll try both of them. Let's download this. Maybe I will do this. I should have done it consequently, really, in 60 frames a second. Let me see if I can mix and match it. It's kind of an interesting concept. So this is also idle, he says, but really I know that it's GRIMM looking left, right. And that goes into here. And then we'll go and take the other one. So it's kind of a beefy animation here, very interesting. So was it looks behind, was that the other one? Yeah, this is kind of a shy look behind. So I'm thinking idle first, then he looks like that, then he looks left and right, and then he gives us a wave. That's the idea. So let's do this in 60 as well. And that is where it really helps if you clear out your download folder every once in a while, you know. It's just called looking behind. That's the spirit. So GRIMM looking behind. That goes in here. And then the final one, that's kind of the most important one. That's a waving gesture. Don't know why I need to keep refreshing this page so that the animations show up. I think it was this one here, but I don't know how that's going to work. Yes, it's actually working really well. So with those more extreme animations, it might be that hands and all that might sink into the body, but I think it's going to work really well. And hello, Joe, of course. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, you know, it is one of those things. I'm still debating, shall I go into work or not? In fact, while we're talking about this, let me go and put a poll on. Here's a poll for your consideration, my friends. So if you think I should go to work, type in exclamation mark vote followed by the number 1. If you feel I should stay at home, type into the chat exclamation mark vote followed by the number 2. So let me show you what I mean. I'll type it in and I say, there we go. This is Backdoor did it. Oh my goodness. Dreamlab did it. Exactly. Very good. This is how you do it. Yes, let me know what you think and we'll collate some of the results. I'll leave it running for a few minutes and you can tell me what you think I should do while I'm downloading this guy's hand gesture animation here. I see. We're going into a very direct direction here, and also those results are coming in very very fast, I must say. So Gorma says I should stay at home and there's no need to stream. Okay, well, it's kind of option 3. I think I would stream anyway, no matter if I go to work or not. That's the kind of the point behind the Stardew Shenanigans streams. I'd like to give us all an option to come together on a daily basis, Rod, which means getting out of bed at 9 a.m. and grabbing a coffee with a bit of Stardew Valley. I can understand that that's tough, but I thought, especially during this period of social isolation, I think it's a really, really good idea to have a place that we can meet and just check in with one another. Oh, TCG Mark, thank you so much for dropping by. And you need to put a space between the vote command and the number, and then it'll count. And then you'll get some feedback there as well from the system. Good to see you again. So I think this is a good gesture, so I'll go and download that. Also in 60 frames, because I think this is important with a lot of movement. I think I'd like a lot of keyframes there. Yeah, Rod, that might work too. So in downloads, waving, I'll say GRIMM waving. I think they're kind of universal, so we don't really have to name them as to what character this is. So there we go. We've got the waving. We're starting with idle. We're starting with, then we're going with look behind. Then we're going looking left, right, and then we're waving. And then perhaps we're going idle again, and then we're fading out. That's the kind of the plan. Righty then. Before we go there, let's just have a look what the results are. I think that was, we had 5 votes so far. Time lapse is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to go close the poll now. I'm already kind of seeing the result here. I'm going to go and show it to you as soon as I complete the poll. Here are the results. Says 100% of your votes. That is crazy, isn't it? Yes, Mark, I hope you're good too. I hope you're, which part of the world do you live in? I don't seem to remember. I think was it Europe? We're just getting, it's just getting crazy. Thank you so much for the t-shirt compliment. I like that you like it. It's a very calm and serene sunset type thing. California, oh my God, yes, that must be. You guys have been under lockdown for a little bit longer than we have here. In Florida, we don't have lockdown orders just yet. We're under please stay at home and you'll be more safe there type orders. So yes, that and New York, New Jersey, that must be kind of crazy. Yeah, I think that's the motto of our mayor, safer at home. I can see that it's an older product, so the origin point isn't at the bottom of the figure. That's usually the case. So maybe we'll be okay. I'll go and just delete this guy from here, or just move him over. Just move him over for a second. I'll just go move him over while I import the first Mixamo thing, and I'll turn it into an aniBlock. So let's start with idle. bring that in, Mixamo. Yeah. Let's see if it even works. I'm not sure if it works. It might do. Works well. Look at that. Idling around for 99 frames. That's good. I like it. Alrighty, let's go and make this guy an aniBlock. This thriller mouse here, very nice. I think with this, I don't think it matters how the guy is named. I'll just go and say create aniBlock from studio keyframes, and let's go like that. Does it work? Yeah, see, there's this movement again that I can see here. He was kind of rock solid on the ground, and now he seems to be moving around again. He's not quite in one position. He seems to be moving backwards and forwards. So today we've got that Z movement on the hip. It's probably Z movement and X movement together. Let me try something else. Let me go and get rid of this guy and bring him in again. And this is all fixable, of course. It's partly why we're doing it. So if I do this on the imported guy, he seems to be in the same spot. I may try to apply this whole animation via edit, copy figure, and then I'll go to this guy, which is the original skeleton. That sometimes makes a difference if I go paste to figure. And now I go and delete the FBX that I've imported. See what the animation looks like now. It's better, I can kind of live with that, but I can see some movements there that were not in the FBX. So it looks like we have to do some work on that anyway. Let me see what happens if I put that, turn that into an aniBlock. The guy needs to be selected, otherwise I can't select create aniBlock from studio keyframes. Let's do that, and yeah, so we have a bit of Z movement this way. I think X movement is kind of okay. I think I'll be okay with that, but we need to look on the blue axis. Is that even Z? It is, isn't it? Yes, X, Z, and Y is up in DAZ Studio. That messes with your brain. Let's do what we did last time and go into that aniBlock, double click for keyframes, and then grab this icon here, open, close the graph editor. And that will now show us all kinds of things. We probably need to have a look at the hips Z position. That's it. That's it. This is what we see. This is the wavy movement. And that's exactly what we don't want. So let's go and circle that in here, the whole thing. And then we'll go and zero that out. For all the keyframes that didn't understand what I meant, we're going to zero this out. There we go. So let's try it again. And now he's in the solid position that we'd like him to be in. I could have a look at X. I think X is kind of stable. I think maybe there's a tiny bit of wobble there. Oh, Joe, yes, are the pizza shops still open? Why is, if you look at that, this is the tiny bit of Z wobble, the X wobble that we see here. Should we get rid of it? What do you think? Domino's, yeah, they're bending themselves over backwards. Please, somebody order pizza, God damn it. Let's. I like it. You're just as much a perfectionist as I am, I can tell. It's just one of these things that it takes 2 seconds to do, and Now that we've done it, I feel much better about it. Look at that. He's standing and he's still moving. So that's what we want, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Get out of keyframe mode. Quickly save this thing before there's any funny business. I think I might even make a new folder here. Treat myself to a new folder. Call him GRIMM with triple M. And I'll say GRIMM idle. Not to say that these won't work with other characters, but there we go. That's it. Our first animation. So I don't think it mattered much that I copied the FBX to the character and then I did the aniBlock. It did this thing anyway. So let's go and make this a bit quicker now and do the look behind. See if that works. It does. Nice. I'm liking it already. Let's turn you into an aniBlock like that. And what are we saying about the movement? Yes. So I think this is turning, I think it is assuming something else as the hip bone. Because I don't want his feet to go like that. I want the body to turn while the feet stay on the ground. That's not cool. Please watch for a while, yes. And if you do have any suggestions, do drop them in the chat, Joe. I'm always appreciative. I'm always appreciative of anyone's suggestions, no matter if they're highly technical or if they're just observational. I appreciate all of it. Do you know, one of the big things in a hurricane that people always warn of is that there's a big chance of food poisoning. So it's like one of those secondary effects that, you know, during a hurricane, the restaurants close and then they open again. And everyone's thinking, oh, great, we can, at least these guys are open. Maybe we should go and eat there. And then you fall into this big trap that maybe that's not actually a good idea because you don't know what the sanitary conditions are in that restaurant. I don't know why that popped into my head just now. Take to import. What happens if I say animation? I just, you know, just kind of curious what happens when we do that. Nothing happens. That makes sense then. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, while that's very convenient, I don't want you to get COVID-19 from a pizza delivery shop. So, yeah, exactly. That's it. Really? Why would he do that? Ugh, my goodness. So look, the feet are on the ground. But if I go and turn this into an aniBlock, maybe I'll go direct copy. Let me see if that works. Does that work? No, it did the same thing. I wonder how I can avoid that. It's almost like the animation is turning around the hip, and I would like it to target the feet. You're over pizza. Yes, me too, Steve, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Totally over pizza. What? Oh man, that is terrible. Goma, that is a very clever workaround. But you think like a 3D artist. If what I wanted to do doesn't work well, maybe we'll just tweak the whole idea of the scene and make it work that way. I wonder if there's something we can do to rectify that. I wonder if it's something like a secret. It definitely happens when we turn this into an aniBlock. That, of course, I'm thinking now, is that necessary? Perhaps we don't need to do that. Actually, do you know what? It is. So the hip bone stays where it is, and that's kind of what we don't want. I wonder, do we need the aniBlock? I mean, the aniBlock, the great thing about the aniBlock is that it'll match, but maybe it'll match anyway if we just put two poses next to one another. We could try that and just use keyframes. I don't know if it's going to work. Third option, we can do this in Blender. That is also an idea. I don't know what happens if we import this guy into Blender, do it with an action strip. Fourth option, let's look at the graph editor and see if we can, we need to probably apply does he not have a hip? He doesn't have a hip? I think this is the problem. He doesn't count. I open this up again. No, I can't. I can see the thighs, but I don't see the hip being targeted. That's why it stays in place. It's not animated. Why? Because this guy has a hip here. Oh, that's curious. Let's go bring him in again. I'm into curious things. The hip certainly moves there. Why does it not move when I go and turn it into an aniBlock? Had I not selected the dude? Do I need to do that? That's possible. Let's try one more time, and ha! Oh goody! I had selected the wrong part. Look at that. Now he just does the wobble. Ha! We're safe! Woohoo! Steampunk Belladonna. So good of you to join us. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. That is really nice. So now we just do the same as we did before. Go and take X and Y, wobble out. Now we have a hip. We didn't have a hip before. So we need to address X and Y. X first. Let's go and take all of these things, zero them out. Y is steady, Z is moving around. Let's make that not happen. And boom. Ha! aniBlock fixed! For a 15-year-old character. This is good. I like it. Very nice. Grim Reaper lives on. There we go. Let's quickly save this as Grim look behind. Haha. Oh goody, it works. Let's make this, when I said make it faster, let's go, let's have look left and right. See if we can just go and cruise through this. There, yes, so his feet are in different positions. So I'm glad we're doing this with aniBlocks, because otherwise it would be a bit of an issue. And do that. And we have wobble again, no problem. Let's fix it. 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks. Make sure you select the X position. Select all of these, zero them out. Select that position, zero them all out. Play it back. Happy days. All right. Grim look left, right. And one more. And that'll be our animation, GRIMM waving. I'm looking forward to that. This looks the most hilarious to me. As he's going, woohoo, anybody there? And I'm hoping we can overlay that with just regular facial animation keyframes. And yeah, moving again, good stuff. You shouldn't, should you? Position Y, oh, position Y is moving a little bit as well this time. And X and Z, so Z's the worst. Zero that out, X gets zeroed out. Yeah, so Y is moving a little bit, so maybe we should we fix that as well? There's not a lot in there. Let's see, let's go fix that as well. Just being the perfectionists, the 3D perfectionists that we are. Coffee stats, Steve, that's very funny. Oh, are you talking slow cooker, steampunk belladonna? Oh, Dreamlab, those are stories. That's just, that is crazy. That is seriously crazy. But yeah, people do it, I guess. Oops, I meant to say save. GRIMM waving frantically, dramatically, enthusiastically. But just waving is probably fine. Also, spell it correctly. That is how you spell waving, isn't it? Without the I? Like wave rather than wave. Is that, yeah, do you spell wave like a wave, like the ocean wave, or do you spell it with an I? Waving. It's the same, right? Good stuff. Never trust a teen to cook your food. Oh, steampunkbelladonna.com. Oh, that's exciting. Recipes, that's always nice. Hey, Julia says we should write down recipes. When you throw things together in the kitchen and sometimes you think, oh, that's amazing. How did you do it? I don't know, I just, fiddled around a little bit. And you go, no, man, you've got to write it down. What happens if we wanted to have it again next week? Well, next will be, today is today, tomorrow will be different. That's what they say, isn't it? So I'm thinking I don't want to use his cloth and his scythe, because it's more, I think it'll be funnier if he's just an unclothed, if he's basically just like he comes like this. Let's see if I can put those aniBlocks together. So they're already saved. I don't need to save the scene. GRIMM, here we go. So GRIMM idle, this is how we start. Then I guess he looks behind just once. Let's see if that even works. Looks behind left, right. And then he goes and waves frantically. And potentially goes idle again. I can't decide yet, but that's the plan for now. Well, that's beefy animation. That's nearly 18 seconds, but it's kind of then consider the fade in and the fade out at the end, and that might look cool. Bring it home, boy. Idling, looking. Still cool. Looking left and right. I don't mind the feet that he changes stance. That's okay. And then he goes and does that. Are we good with that? Are we unhappy about the feet? Should the feet be closer together? If so, I don't know how to do it. So perhaps we'll just go live with that, huh? What do you think? We could even, Gorma would say this, Animator's trick is to just go and frame the feet out. It's funny if we just see this. We don't need to see the feet. See you later, Christina. In case you do doze off. It was so nice of you just to drop by. I do appreciate that. I have a feeling the idle could be shorter, but that's easily done by just trimming it off, just making it a bit shorter. And then the end, we can just leave as it is. Oh. And I think he also needs to look straight at us. I think that's important as well. Hey, you! Hartono, we judge. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. And then we need to see his hands. Very important. So we might change camera there. I don't know. It's probably enough if we don't see his hands. And we probably don't need to have that last second. So I'll trim a little bit off that as well. So we make it like 15.5 seconds here. So let me go save this scene and then see if I can animate the facial movements there, because he has some really cool morphs in regards to eyes and head shape. So we'll see if we can make that happen. That's in DAZ scenes, GRIMM waving. I see I've misspelled it again. Now I spelled it with an I in the front. Man. So those will be made with regular keyframes. I'll see if I can overlay that. And that's certainly in the head, I think. Neck, head. So head, select the head, add a keyframe here, just so that the head doesn't change between here and there. And then we change the facial expression to like a frantic, like something like that. And then we leave it to about here, and then we change it again. So set one keyframe here and one kind of here. And here, this is where we want that change to occur. So let's see. Under morphs, expressions, there we go. Character, teeth missing, that's exciting. So we can do all that. Oh, let me set up a camera as well. I think before we do anything crazy that we'll later regret, let's go and create a new camera based on that. And then we can go and head, there we go. Look at his head. So this is where we want the expression to be like, to be 100%. So let's see, you can have a head, heart shape. Those are just shape morphs. Heart-shaped eyes, that is quite cute actually. That would be quite exciting if we could have that. Cheekbones, vampire teeth, jaw size, but expressions is probably really what I'm after. Wide eyes. Oh my god. That's cool. eye size, brows up and down, mouth open. So that's something we want, mouth open. And are we saying that the mouth needs to be closed here? That's mouth. And that needs to be mouth open here, and then the next keyframe needs to be mouth closed again. And we can then go and maybe do something with the eye size, that when he's looking, he actually makes the eyes a bit bigger. And then when he's looking front again, he makes them smaller, just to give that a little bit of an expression in a moment. Brows dubious. That's funny. Brows worried. That's cool. Oh, I like that. Let's make brows worried. Enable that here and there at 100%, and then here it'll be back to 0, and here it'll be back to 0. All right. Oh, you! Anyone want to help me out here? We can also do an eye blink. I think we'll add that as an aniBlock. That's going to be interesting to have him blink. Hypnoskeleton. That's my new stream, 24-hour stream. Yeah, so at that moment, just before he turns around, he can go and have the eyes wider. Because that's what you do, you make your eyes really wide. Or we can do something like so I'll set a keyframe here to 0. He's looking, and so maybe like wincing, actually, rather than eyes wide. It's more like, like trying to squint. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Eyes squint. Do we have that? There's wide. Brows angry. Sad. Oh, sad. He can be. Oh, cute. So sad. Worried, dubious. Wince, is that what I'm thinking of? Wince is like a little bit evil. Side, side. Oh, we have these things as well. That's nice. So we could animate that as well. Let's not do it now. Let's see if we can just go and do with the eyes wide then. Where was that again? Dubious, worried. What's dubious? Dubious was this. Yeah, maybe that's fun. That we go and have him look a little dubious here. As he looks, maybe that'll be a good substitution for wincing eyes. Looks like that. Still does that here, and then he goes undubious at that point. And then he goes dubious again, maybe. So leave everything as it is here, then go dubious again. Until here, and then go undubious again, like so. So that should animate that. He says it's barely noticeable, but it's it's giving him some character expression there. And then he does this. Okay, let me go save this, and then we'll have a look at that. So much of it we don't see, but there's certainly some subtle expression going there. I think I can make that more pronounced, I think. I've also forgotten to leave the undubiousness until about here. So from here, at this point, I want this to be undubious. So I just want him to do that here, then relax again. Oh yeah, I think I've done this wrong, the first keyframe here. These need to be static, and this one I can exaggerate a little bit. So let's make it like really dubious here, 100%. Leave it until here with 100%. And then we'll clear it up again to 0, that's correct. We leave it at 0. Oh no, actually we do this already. Yeah, okay, we need to go and leave it at 0 here. And then we can go dubious again. Always with the double keyframes and, you know, there. Super dubious. And this is a strenuous keyframe. We don't really want that. I'll just go set it again. To here, we want you to still be dubious, and now we want you to be okay again. So at this point, we want you to be 0. That's perfect. We want you to stay 0 until here, and then we have you have that expression here until here actually. So you need to be you need to have your worried expression until here. So worried needs to still be here. And then you go relaxed again. That's what we want. Okay, let's try that. That's what I wanted. Perfect. Whew. And they're so subtle. There's a lot of work in there, but it really, now that it's playing it, it's really nice to see all that. So I'll do the eyes next, because with the mouse that really made a big difference. So currently the eyes are just looking forward. So I'm going to try and move the eyes in accordance with his head movements. So we'll see if we can find strategic points at which we can say he's starting to move the head, and just before he does that, he will move his eyes into that direction, and they will move before the head moves, or at least in conjunction with it. Let's see, so the eyes, they're mainly side by side, so we're not going to use up and down, we're not going to use this, but side by side as a preemptive measure of having him look into a direction. Maybe also not 100%, but maybe to, yeah, just about 50. 50 is good. Let's use 50. So first keyframe 0, make sure that's all 0. So like now he's moving his head. So I'm thinking that now is probably a good time to move the eyes first before the head moves. So I'll set one keyframe here, and then just fairly shortly after, he's moving his eyes very fast. I'll use the same, can I use the same keyframe for here? Yeah, I'll just make sure there's not too many keyframes here. So now I'll move those eyes to here, to -50. It's almost like I could use them, could move them down as well. Maybe I'll do that to -50 down as well. We'll see what that looks like. Set a keyframe. We won't see the eyes. So now when his head is straight again, I think the eyes need to already be straight at this keyframe. So let's make sure there's 0 here again. and just make sure just slightly before that here there's still minus 50. I'm sure there's better ways of setting the keyframes. Like in an ideal world, I will just duplicate them and move them over. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so that didn't work well because the eyes are already moving. That's not what I had intended. I thought that's why I set the keyframe for the eyes that are still 0 here, but I guess I did not. Like that. That's the effect that I was after. So he's moving the eyes first before he's looking. And ideally on the same on the way back. I don't think on the way back it works quite so well. It's maybe because we don't see it. Maybe it's because it's out of vision. Yeah, let's see if we can look at the eye keyframes. Left and right eye. Maybe we can just go and move those properties further away there. Are we allowed to do that? Up, down, side, side. Yeah, perfect. So maybe just move these slightly further over here. And the same here then. Just make sure they're moving with one another. That's one keyframe too many, I think. Or one keyframe too early. We don't see it because it's out of vision. I think I'll leave it. I don't think we're going to see it. I think it's more important here again when he moves his head around again. Let's see if we can just go close this again. So like here at this keyframe, I think his eyes should already move to the other side. So head eyes 0 here, and here they should be, I suppose that's now 50. And also minus 50 to go down. Like that. So he's thinking about it, then he's looking with his eyes first. Oh, now he's moving back. Okay, that'll be interesting. So I might just leave it until here at minus or at 50, and here I'll have them change to the other direction. So that'll be here, so that he can move his eyes earlier. That's cool. And then we'll move that to here, another keyframe here, and then here they need to be kind of regular again. Does that make sense? And he's looking again. Oh, I see, he's looking again at that point. So that at this point we need to have them at 50 again and minus 50. And then about here, in between here, we want them to be 0 again. I think just about here. I think. Let's see if it works. It actually works really well. It really adds that little extra life to him. It's almost now when we're on the idle bits that I'd like to put a little bit of head movement, or not head movement, just eye movement in there, just like very fast, like humans do. That when you look at Pixar characters, they do that. They have a they behave like humans. They move their pupils left and right, just in tiny amounts. Oh, let's have a look at that. His first look to the left, like here, like coming up now. We could set that a bit later. I find it's kind of, I think it works because he's kind of hearing something, so he looks with the eyes first before he turns his head. So eyes first, then the head follows. I think I kind of like it that way. Let's see if we can help it all out by going. So we're on 0 here. I think just in the middle. I'm going to put. Yeah, see, I think it still hasn't quite worked I think it was supposed to work differently. Like at this keyframe, the eye side thing. Do you know what? There's an additional keyframe in here. Do you see that? The eye side, that is already moving here. Now, do you know what that is? That's the Bezier thing again. That's what that is. That's why we're seeing, do you see that up here? I didn't set a keyframe. Man, I didn't set a keyframe in between here, but there appears to be movement in here already before the eyes get going, and that's an overspill of the Bezier curve, I think. Let's see if we can move all of these to linear. It's still happening. Jay's not happy. Jay is getting upset. Serenity now! I mean, the good thing is it kind of works. You reckon you're saying around keyframe 150? First look to the left. So you don't actually mean this one to the left. You mean the next one. This one's to his left or to my left. Please clarify. Dazometer. I like it. Welcome to Dazistan, where the dazometer rules. His left. All right. Okay, cool. Right. Okay. So this, you mean this, you don't like the eyes moving now, you would like for them to move later. I see your point. Let's see what we can do on the dazometer. That's not it. We're looking for these puppies here. From here to right. Okay, well, so what we can do then is go take these guys and just move them slightly further over here. That didn't do anything. Excellent. That's good. That's only for the left eye. No, that didn't do anything. Left or right eye. If DAZ had better tools, it'd be much easier to fix, wouldn't it? Oh, so this is that movement already. Should they be, because there should be 0 here. And they should kind of stay 0 and then they should move. And it appears they're not quite doing that. Let me go and bring them back to where that is, and then we'll go and see if I can, because it's a head morph after all, or this thing is on the head. So I'll see if I can put them to 0 here. Both eyes, and we'll see if that does the trick. Oh, it's still kind of there. Sorry, Dreamlab. I'm gonna have to leave it like that. This is not easy. I see where that is, but I don't see where that is in keyframes, I'm afraid. Like this thing, I would have expected the eyes to stay 0 for a bit longer, but moving those keyframes doesn't seem to do in DAZ what reality does. So we'll leave it as it is. We'll leave it as it is. Let's go and have a look at the 2 idle movements and see if we can make them look even more smashing. Like this bit here, that's all okay, and then this bit here. And I'm thinking I might see eyes up, down, they move there already, and that's just not correct. That is so not correct. I'm gonna go filter this. This is giving me the heebie-jeebies. So it's like here, why are they at 6% here? Shouldn't be like that now, should it? Because there's no keyframe here. I don't get that. You really have to rethink if you've used the same program and then you try to go back to DAZ for animation. That's like, what? You just have to work around so many things with so many compromises. It's such a shame because I mean, it looks like they have the tools, they just don't behave like they should. It's super minor. Let's see what we can do here. If we go and set a keyframe here, just out of interest, out of curiosity, I'll go and save what we have. And at this moment, let me go and put this to 0. And then set a keyframe. This is also weird that usually keyframes are being recorded automatically, but not now. It kind of depends on the day of the week. What happens there? It almost works in our favor, so there's still a rogue keyframe here somewhere, and I do not know where that is. I have no idea. It does work in our favor though. I'll go and put one keyframe here, where I'm putting the eyes deliberately to one side now, like just here maybe. And then here's another one at which I'm going to put them to 0 again. So it's supposed to be really minor and really small. I don't know if it's going to work. Let's see. Yeah, like that. This is the movement I was after. Ha ha ha. Look, it has worked. It's super minor, but he is moving his pupils before he starts moving his pupils. You know what I mean? He's not just staring blankly at the camera. He's just moving his eyes a little bit. And I really like that. It's almost like I want to do that again before he does that. Literally do that twice. So that the eyes are constantly looking for something. If DAZ had better tools, I could just go and copy this and paste this again. But I don't know if that's going to work. Like, you know, if I'm circling around a block of things like that, that's the idea. If I go copy them. Last time we tried this, I just go and paste them in here. Last time we tried this, the head disappeared with the mouse. So let's see what happens now. Just out of curiosity. I mean, didn't recall doing the head disappear. So see what happens? Why did that happen? That made no sense at all. What happened to his right eye there? And that's what happens when you copy and paste keyframes. Let's quickly undo that and just recreate it from scratch. Thanks, DAZ, because that is just so helpful. So we'll go and put, because it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. Flatten the curve, flatten your expectations more like. Lower, in fact, turn them down to -12. Like yesterday with the head movement, with the head disappearance of the mouse. That's unbelievable. You copy a keyframe, paste it, head disappears. What? Where's that? Unbelievable. But with the professionals, we remain super calm in situations like that. We don't get upset or anything. I'll go and put a keyframe here. Let's move it a tiny bit forward. And then move them. How much did I move them to the side? Maybe, was it 20? 20 was too much, wasn't it? It was just 10, I think. 10% to the side. A few more keyframes, and then we're back at 0. Come on. Yes, look at that. He's just looking around. This works really well. And there's that randomness to it as well. Good thing we only spent an hour on his eye, on his pupils that are going to be the size of less than a pixel in the final animation. But it's important to do that. Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's free. Can you please buy content now? So this is okay. There's enough movement in here. And then here, we're going to do the same thing again. I think at least maybe once, maybe twice. Let's do it twice. So eyes are 0 here, zeroed out, a few frames over here. Eyes side, 10. Boom, a few frames over, 0. Keyframe. I wonder if it's got something to do with this. Object node recursive. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Who knows what it does, hey? And then we'll do the same here. One keyframe, couple of frames over here, and then we maybe just go and have that turn to -10. Oh, that was I square. I'm so sorry. -10. Keyframe. 0. Boom. And also, I keep wanting to press play with the spacebar, and that doesn't work either, but hey, that's cool. Minor eye movement. I think we've nailed it. Dreamlab, good comeback there. And I like that Blender don't want to sell you their own catalog every day of the week. Hey, I think this is great. It took a lot of time, a lot of work, but I think he's going to be a major funny candidate for the whole stream overlay thing. I have decided I'm going to sell these animations as well as overlays. I don't know where and how yet. I think I might just put up my own store on my website, and this will be great in a few varying resolutions, and people can then buy them and use them for their stream overlays. I think that's going to be really nice. I'll also make these small things that I'm using for my overlay available for Patreon supporters, so you can download them there too. And then when there's various resolutions, like larger ones, smaller ones, for anything that you want to use them for, might be good animation for the Instagram crowd as well. Who knows? So now that we've done that, let's have a look at camera setup and lighting, I'm thinking. Do you think, Goma? Oh my God, that would be crazy. Indeed, celebrate. Woo-hoo! So let's look through our camera and see how I like to frame this guy up. I mean, I do like to see the whole guy. I think now you can really see the eye movements. Now that we're looking at him from the front. Look at that, it's all in the eyes. That's just so cool. Wow, I'm very impressed. I'm very, very impressed. Do you want, I'm running out of coffee. I'm gonna go grab a coffee. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Excuse me. This is also the ideal holding frame, I guess, if there's something that you think should happen. I have a feeling I'd like to, on the end eye movement, I would love for him to go and for the eye movements to be a little bit stronger, I find. So maybe the 10 wasn't actually big enough. Maybe I'll use 20. Let's see if we can make that happen. Oh, the funniest, who posted that on Discord? That was so funny with one of the DAZ characters being in the middle and she was fiddling with the dials on the right and saying, "What are you doing?" That was very funny. Yeah, there, let's make that 20. Hang on a minute. Is that what I wanted to do? I'm not sure, I think it was. The bust size. Oh, that was bust size. I didn't look at the details. I just thought she was referring to stop fiddling with any of my properties. That's even funnier. Well, we give DAZ that. It is working rather hard at adjusting values and all. Very nice. That as a loopable animation, hey? Imagine that. So we save all this and we set some lights. Oh yes, we still have a combination of aniBlocks and keyframes. I think I'll leave it for this version. I mean, we can, since it is saved, it would be kind of interesting to see what happens if we go and turn that into a whole keyframe animation, but I think I'll leave it as it is for now. Just, you know, just saying, just in case I need to make any more adjustments. If I do turn that over, like this function here, if I use baked to studio keyframes, I think I would lose the ability to move the sliders that I've set up there, because every frame would get a keyframe, and that means it'll be kind of a major nightmare to extract stuff that you don't want to have keyframes. So like from one to another, and then that's. So I'll leave it as is. Array preview, bring it on. So like we had it last time, this is the default. This is the default orientation of the default thing. And I think this is set to iRay. Let's set this to our camera. And let's set this also to iRay. I'm thinking that the direction of it could be kind of more from this side here, I'm thinking. And I'd like to kind of retain the lighting that we already had with slightly lower HDRI properties, and then have one directional light that casts a bit of a shadow on one of his sides to make that a bit more, exciting. So like that. Oh, let's leave it here as it is and just go the dome rotation, just fiddle with that, see what happens. I'm looking for the shadow to go kind of behind him. I'm not very good at making that happen with the dome rotation. Maybe I'll just use the Y rotation. It's kind of more what I'm accustomed to, thinking in degrees, I guess. Yeah, so I'm thinking like that, maybe. No, not at all. Like the shadow, I like for the shadow to basically go this way. It doesn't make much sense if I'm pointing at the screen or not, I guess. I could also just memorize the number, that once I know which value it is, I could just keep using that. But I'm not good at memorizing things. So like this, I just want this slide, I mean, minus 120. I think that's a good number to remember. I say, oh boy, minus 120. There. There. And I'm doing that so that the shadow complements the actual light that I'm putting in there. So I'll go and put the map intensity to something much lower. That could work. Maybe even lower than that. I think maybe 0.3 is probably okay. And so that's just for the shadows there, for the kind of for the base thing. And now I'm going to go and try to put a mesh light, something along the lines from here. Maybe just a spotlight from here. That's my plan. Let's use a spotlight from the viewport thing like that. And maybe even look through the spotlight. Make that come from here and just see what that looks like. So spotlight parameters, don't filter eyes out. Go to light and say area, perhaps disk is good. Perhaps also make that, I don't know, maybe 10. Let's leave 10. And photometrics, I think temperature maybe 5000. Make that a bit warmer. And luminous flux, let's start with 20,000. And see that nothing happens. Let's try 200,000. Yes, I can see stuff happening. I might just go and move in closer. That will also help. I don't have to crank it up quite as high. I can just go move in with the light. And by doing that, I can then try and illuminate more of his face like that, maybe. So now, of course, 20,000 is way too high. So let's try knock 1 0 off. That's way too low. Interesting. Let's try 5,000. That's also too low. Why is that? Maybe 10,000 then. I'm not entirely sure why this is happening, because 20,000 was clearly too much a minute ago, and now 10,000 is barely showing up. Does that make any sense? It doesn't to me. Does that make any sense to you? Because I'm not entirely sure why that is happening. I should be seeing this guy quite strongly illuminated now, and that ain't happening. Oh, did I? Idason, thank you so much for letting me know. That was just my mistake to getting 1 0 out of there. Is that could that be the solution to the puzzle? Yes, it was. Idason, thank you so much for paying attention. This is why I so much rely on people like you. I get easily confused. There we go. So that's 100,000, and that's a little bit too much for me. Okay, cool. So let's go and I can't look through the spotlight and do the thing, do that, and then the rest we just go and do maybe with distance. Thank you, I appreciate that, and welcome to the stream, by the way. This could be good. Let's look at it on the big screen. Is it too hot, do you think, or is it not contrasty enough? It might be too hot, actually. It might be too hot. So let's go and let's try doing that. I'm also thinking just potentially make that a bit yellower. Maybe like 4,500. Maybe that's a nice compromise, just to make that a bit yellower. That could work, right? Goma, what do you think? And I do like that we see some of the crevices here. So this is really what I was after, the idea that we do see some definition on him. Because nothing's lamer than just a soft light. I mean, we want to have dramatic in this guy. Yeah, the environment map, yeah, we could do that, but I think let's see what it actually looks like without the environment map. If I go and say scene lights only, this is what we're doing just with our light. So that's very yellow and very harsh. And then we can see DOM only. That's what that does. And I suppose we can set that higher, but that looks just flat. So it's not. I don't really like it that much. I like the mixture there. I think 0.3 we had it at, so that there's a little bit of mix in there. So dome and scene together brings us this. Nicely done, I hope. It's almost a shame that his eyes are not green. I guess I could tweak the iris materials here. I don't think they have to be green. I think it's fine the way they are. I mean, we could try an emission shader of some description, see if we can find something in there. Let me go and save this here. GRIMM waving version 2. I just go with 1, I guess. So left eye and right eye. Oh yeah, we just go and select this guy and have a look at the eyes. So these are all 3D light properties, by the way. So I have to go and convert them if I wanted to do something exciting. And now the base color of the eyes is yellow. So let's see if we can pick something like a toxic green. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Nicely done. And I guess the other thing is we can make them... Oh, that was just emission. So I can just go and crank those up as light emitting objects there. That's also nice. So in that case, I can probably... oh, sorry, that was the emission temperature. I'm so sorry. This is the emissiveness. Let's go set that to watts. And then we can go and crank that up to something hopefully not that bright. Yeah, that could be quite nice. So we have this, we have the green cast, a little bit of green on his eye sockets here. That doesn't look creepy, does it? Nice. I'm thinking of giving this tooth a metal shader. Bzzz. No, it's just surface convergence, Gorma. I think it's... Once you've got the conversion going, it's fine. I think Steve knows a lot more about conversions. Drop by his YouTube channel and his Twitch channel. He streams about this, how to make those subtle adjustments to older generation characters, especially in DAZ Studio and in Blender. Very nicely done. It's something I haven't quite explored yet. Steve knows a lot more about that than I ever will do. I think I have a shortcut set up to his channel. Let me see if I go !Steve. There we go. That's Steve's Twitch channel and his YouTube channel. Drop by sometime. Let me see if I can make this a metal shader. That'd be kind of good. And I think ideally I'd like for him to have a little bit more shininess on the bones. So there's bones here. And is it roughness? No, it's not roughness, is it? No, it's not roughness. It's kind of a shininess, glossy. There we go, glossy roughness. If we take that down, that should become more shiny then. Or not, also good. Glossy could be layered weight, is that what it means? No. I don't know anything about iris shaders. Metallicity, perhaps that's what I'm looking for. No, that just turns everything into metal. That's not what I mean. So gold tooth, this is really the one I'm after. So gold tooth, if I just select that and just literally pick an iris shader of gold. Boom, gold tooth, awesome. And perhaps his bones are a little bit too shiny now. I do like what I did before there, but just before I started fiddling, maybe I can make that turn back to where it was. was that glossy layered weight? I think that was something like that. So it's less glossy now. It's just more kind of a matte color. Woohoo! Very good. That was fast, Goma. Awesome. Turn it down. Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Steve. I think that was it. So if I do that, then we get rid of all glossiness. Yeah, so I'll just leave it like it was before, just a tiny bit. I think it was 0.01. I think it's not a lot, but there. I think that's my man, the skeleton. So now my biggest thing is always, how do we make sure the camera's framed up correctly? I'll go take this out of iRay now. I like this, but I also think perhaps we're going to go and turn him, look at him slightly from the man. Look at him from a slight angle. I can never tell. I can never tell. I think since he's looking at us, I think we need to look at him pretty much from head on. I think one other thing I'd like to do is I'd like my camera to be a bit more wide angle. So I'll try 38. That makes him just a little bit scarier. And I do like the idea of framing the feet out, then we don't have to deal with the foot animation at all. Thirds guide is always nice to frame this up to, so that I know exactly that I'm in the middle here. It's kind of in the middle now. I'm not worried about his hands cutting off, but I can see why we may want to position the camera slightly lower, maybe. Oh, set an accidental camera keyframe there. Very bad of me. See, DAZ records keyframes when it wants, not when I want. It does it when it wants it, not when I want it. It's essentially usually the opposite of what I want. So there's some kind of a sensor in DAZ, which is not good. I tell you that. Camera keyframe there. This keyframe. Boom. So I think I like the previous framing where we don't worry about the hands being cut off and rather keep him in frame without the hands most of the time. What do you think? Do you prefer to see his hands while he's waving? Or shall we indeed move the camera? I think we shouldn't. I think it's a great idea to just have him stand there like this. And then when the moment comes where he does raise his hands, we kind of get it. I don't think we need to move the camera. But what's your feeling? Let me know. Me too, which is why I spent so much time on doing it. I could be rendering this already, but no, we're faffing around with what's the perfect framing. Because I do like his hands, I do like seeing his hands, but I must admit I see more of his hands while he's standing around. So ideally, really, I'd like to frame, give him even less headroom and just zoom in a little bit closer there. We could do it like we did with the FBI agent and literally do a 2-camera setup where we see him with less headroom until we catch him at the waving thing where we go to the wide. That's a possibility. We might do that. Backlight. Okay, we can do that. That's not a bad, yeah, it's not a bad call. Then we get a bit of separation from behind. Steampunk Belladonna, thank you so much for the tip. I will totally do that. I will totally do that. Because I'm wondering if we take this into consideration, I wonder if we just go and give him this kind of framing. Considering it is as small as the FBI agent, so it's a really small animation on the overlay. I wonder if we just do this. And then here we cut to a wider camera. Let's go and with that camera selected, edit, duplicate, boom, camera 2. And we're gonna call it camera wide and camera close. So then the wide camera with all keyframe shenanigans that are automatically recorded. I think I can make that happen if I untick that. No, there was a way to, was it this here? I think that was it. Translate and rotate and aliases all deselected. So I think this now means DAZ Studio isn't recording any keyframes. I think that's what it is. So at that point we can go wide. So it still records keyframes. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. So this is just what it displays. It's not about the automatic. Is this it? Man, DAZ, could you have come up with a worse interface? No, we tried hard. This is as bad as it gets. We couldn't make it any worse, I'm afraid. We tried hard. I think aliases was also on, wasn't it? I wonder that sometimes with computer games. Didn't you think this was a frustrating gaming experience when you put this thing through playtesting? Yeah, no, it was pretty good, but then we had a team work on it for 6 months to make it more frustrating. Oh really? You did a good job, man. Good job. That and then, oh, I see. I just named the cameras the wrong way around. Yeah, okay, Sherlock. There. So now this is the close camera and it's not animating, right? Good, it's not. And then we have the wider camera. If only they had playtested. And the wide camera, of course, needs to be, as the name suggests, a bit wider. And then we go and delete this keyframe. Didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say delete this keyframe? It's not, there we go. I love it. That's not frustrating at all, is it? So, okay, we'll just go and move this guy. If I can't delete him, we'll move him to the beginning, and then we move this guy to the beginning. Okay, you gotta really learn how to think outside the box when you're using DAZ Studio. So we're only going to use that camera when we cut to this thing here, when he goes in waves. And then I think we'll go close again. And then we're going to do the backlight, and then we're going to call it a day. So this is not animating either, this camera. No. Whew. All right. But yeah, I think they weren't employed. I think back in the day, they used to have a QC department for products. Very strict, very good, and they really knew what they were doing. Some of the QC guys were vendors themselves, even though they were employed at DAZ or some kind of freelance agreement, I don't know, but they were vendors themselves, and they were good. They were good. But it seems, and I guess that's the tragic thing, it seems that's so long ago. I wonder if I can just, I think I'll just make my new, I'll make a new light. Steve, remind me, how did this work again with backlights? Are they low or are they high? I think, because I forget these things, I think I always tend to put them too high, and you always tell me to put them lower, and that works way better. I think that's what it was. I just don't quite remember. Oh, yes, actually, they split off and formed their own company. You're right. That's what happened. Rod, that's totally fine. We know you're there, and that's awesome. We love you for it. Let me create a new spotlight. Low. Thank you, Steve. And I'll go and copy that. Here it is. Am I going to go and have that point at the guy? No, because it always turns out to be terrible, and then the thing goes and turns out. I'm not going to do that. So I'll go and make that. Leave a point, yeah, leave a point, that's cool. And then make that like, is that 100,000? Yes. Let's do that. So I'm going to call this guy. I'm going to call this guy. I'm going to call this guy. There we go. Oh, DAZ. I was thinking double click to rename, but no, it's actually single click, then wait. Sorry. So impatient. So impatient. So this is the rim light. And spotlight is the spotlight. And to judge this, we'll look through here. And we'll try and make sure this isn't actually framed up. I might actually go and look at this side by side. I'm just trying to move this guy out of vision. I don't particularly want to see him. And I would like for my mouse to go onto the number as well. It kind of tries to skip there, crazy stuff, because it's not quite bright enough. It's not quite bright enough. Can that even be possible? Do I need to add another 0 to this whole thing? Yeah, there we go. Backlight. Now it's a bit strong. I do see that, but it had to be that much. They don't, Steampunk Belladonna. I totally agree. And they're a nice community. Their forums are really nice. You don't get these know-it-alls, you know. All these people that tell you that you should know why you're asking, you know, that type of attitude. I don't really appreciate that on the DAZ forums very much. So maybe 1,000,000 is indeed a bit much. So let's try and knock that down to something like that. I think this works really well. Observe please, without. Steampunk Belladonna picked up on it. With. Nice. Without. With. Backlight. It makes me want to go. Oh, okay. I can always, if we wanted to make this one softer, I can always increase the area here. I can put that to 50 and that to 50, and that has the same effect as increasing the size of a mesh light, maybe 100. Well, actually, in that case, I would use kind of a disc, I guess. Notwithstanding the fact that it's now here, yeah, but I can totally see it's softer. So yeah, good idea. Very good idea. I also forgot that we can just switch the emitter off and then it just doesn't appear even if it's in front of the camera. So if we wanted to have that lower down, we can still make that happen. I think it's low enough, but just in case we wanted to make that happen. Now the thing isn't in our vision anymore. I don't think I don't think it makes a massive difference. I'm inclined to move it to the side a bit and then just turn this over to here. Only because then we see a bit of separation here on the face. That might be cool. Color. Let's make that happen. I appreciate that. This whole little doing this together. I'm gonna make it. I don't know. Just try and make it cooler. Or I could just do it with an actual color here. Let's try to let's match the green. See if that's cool. Now that's terrible. That's because it's too intense. That might look cool. Or do you think blue purple? Yeah, let's do blue. Let's do something blue. I like that as well. Kind of like maybe this. And a little bit less intense. Just a hint. While we're playing with light, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know. Or do you think something stronger? Minister D, welcome, welcome. Hello again, shall I say. Let's try something blue. Just plain blue. I'm not sure. I think I like the idea of matching his green glowing eyes. So if I try, I don't know, maybe this. And then just make that less intense. Just so that we find the same type of color in here. I like for his eyes to be almost like glowing glass eyes. So I'll try to make that happen just before we sign off here. Eyes. So let's see if we can find something like a glass type thing. Jade, that's a good start. Jade, and then crank up the emission of that. Or we just go and say turn it into an emissive shader like so. And then go pick the same of that, and then go and say, and now it's yellow. Is that because we're just a bit too hot on the eye front? Probably is. Yeah, so watts is quite drastic, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not seeing the green that we had before. I think I'll go back there. Maybe I'm just looking for something more like transparent. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe I'm happy actually. Maybe next time, Minister D. For now, he's just going to wave at us. Yeah, I'd like for them to just look a little bit more transparent, but I don't really know how to make that happen in the iris shader unless I start with something transparent. Fresh F, thank you so much for following indeed. I appreciate that. Don't know why you didn't get a little animation there. I need to check in on that. Some events do, some events don't do that, and regular follows should really trigger that. But hey, thank you so much for following all the same. What do you think? Are we good here? Are we okay with this guy? I think we've done a cracking job. Let me go and put this back to texture shaded and also the single viewport again, so we can have a look at his whole animation one last time. In like totally full screen, man. There we go. That's our handiwork for today. Every single dial we've set up from scratch with the help of Mixamo, of course. Every eye movement, every hand movement, every mouth movement. I think so too. And that's a very nice avatar, I must say. For a chef, very good. Mr. Skelly, 15 years old, back in the day, currently available for 40% off on the DAZ Studio store. DAZ Studio really likes it, and it can be used with Mixamo as well. Oh yes, and also then of course we have, I mean, iRate doesn't do this in real time, but his tooth is full metal with the backlight and all that. So this is like a gold thing. It's going to look really nice. I'm going to go and render this out, and hopefully it'll be live tomorrow on Stardew Shenanigans, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Drop by if you're free, drop by if you're awake at that point. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to do these daily during the COVID-19 period. And thank you so much for all your wonderful input in regards to shall I go to work tomorrow. I will give this some thought. I will have to let my supervisor know eventually. I'm torn. I'm really torn. On one hand, I don't want to let anyone down. At the same time, I just don't want to take the risk of unnecessarily putting myself into a group of people that might infect me. So yes, it's one of those things. I will let you know what I'll do. I'm going to stream Stardew Valley tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's the daily thing. I've picked Stardew Valley because it's kind of a cool game, kind of nice to chill and hang in there and what's the word I'm looking for? Connect with one another on a daily basis. Be safe, my friends. I will let you know my decision tomorrow. I think I will go in and see what's happening. Then I have a day off. So I think on that day, I might just, judging by how it went tomorrow, I'll let my supervisor know. Thank you so much for dropping by and hanging out with me. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.